How's it going, YouTube? I wanted to give a little update on Bitcoin from where we left off the other day. And I also want to show you some positions that I got into with Bitcoin's pullback today and show you how I knew to get into those positions. So let's start real quick with what we're looking at here is the Binance chart. So my entry price was 35,600 right here, and Bitcoin's pumping right now, and I'm up. That's equivalent of probably about $240, $250 USD right now. And how I got to arrived at this pullback was, you see, this is Bitcoin on the daily, and this was yesterday's candle. So everybody was so happy the day before. Oh, we had 2 green days in a row. Then we have this massive sell-off that just accelerated at like 8, 9 a.m. this morning. I actually got into a short this morning, but I was pretty certain that we'd bounce from this level because you see, I drew this trend line that was here during the previous episode. This is actually kind of annoying. These are on lower time frames. I don't like to have them on higher ones, but this is also one of the reasons why I thought Bitcoin would bounce, because if you go to the hourly chart, that was the same thing that I just made disappear. This is called a channel. So a few days ago, I started to notice that Bitcoin was forming this formation here. So at first, I thought it was an ascending wedge shape, which is a bearish pattern, right? Which usually breaks out just like that, and you see broke out from RSI, tested, just kept. Anyway, the second thing I noticed was that the possibilities is that it might bounce. And so what I did was I also drew a channel. Oops, wrong tool. I also drew a channel indicating that this area is a possible bounce area. And so I'm looking at the previous highs and kind of just roughly estimating out where the previous lows were, and you get something like that. So even though we broke down, there's good reason to believe that it might bounce in this area here. One is there's a resistance line or support line right here from the previous action on the 13th. And then if you look on the daily chart, that area also not only coincides with my long-term support that stretches back till early December, but we discussed in the first episode that this is the VPVR indicator. It's a volume price indicator. It acts as almost like a visual magnet. So these gaps, Bitcoin wants to fill these gaps. So if you noticed on the 11th, we filled the gap here. So that was out. We started pumping and we came back. I figured the gap would be filled right around here, right? See that? And that's what happened. So I put some buy orders here last night, or early this morning. I went short last night, put some buy orders here this morning, and it caught, and we're still moving up. So what I actually did was earlier I caught a lower bounce, and one of the things you want to do as a trader is you want to take some profit off the table. So here's my P&L. So 1142 today, took about $100 something off the table. So that's this bar right here. If you look at the time, 11 o'clock. So around 1140, towards the end of this close, towards the top of this close, I closed out about 50 positions or 50 contracts for a bit of a profit, and I waited for a pullback. Bought in here. Should have bought in lower. It's a little bit conservative. I should have been more aggressive, but I bought in here, and now we're moving back up, and we're going to a new. We're consolidating towards a new rally. And actually, this candle is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see. I was expecting yesterday to actually be a red day. We're going to have a little bit of a sell-off. That would have been healthy. But because we had 2 green days in a row, I was starting to freak out because I thought if we start to attempt to break out of Bitcoin yesterday, we would have suffered a gigantic pullback because the volume is just nothing, right? And so yesterday's red day was just beautiful. Like there's a nice healthy pullback, shake out some loose hands, and then now we can just move towards a breakout, probably towards Monday or Sunday. And here's one of the other reasons that this. Let me do a replay because this thing looked crazy earlier. Where's my replay? You know what I just realized? We could replay candles, but I can't replay hours within this candle because this is a daily chart. But what I wanted to show was that this was a monster pullback of about 13%, about $5,380 we pulled back. So if you guys are watching this morning, this looked pretty crazy because it was a giant red candle. And why did I have conviction enough to buy in here, to call it catching the falling knife? Is because of the volume. Like even this morning, like we pumped a little towards the end. That's why this volume can went up a little bit. But for the majority of the last 24 hours, this volume candle was trading below the previous day, even though the price action was nearly double. Right? If it was this kind of price movement, 5,000 plus price movement, with this type of volume, I would start to freak out a little bit. But this was a low volume move, so this means that there's very few transactions happening. Like each transaction is buying up and down the price by large gaps, but in terms of how many transactions is happening, it's very little. So it's nothing to be fearful. So we actually had, like I said on the previous episode, if we continue to have decreasing volume, I'm not really stressed about moves to either side. This is just a consolidation phase, and you really want to see consolidation phases as they break out. Let me go to the 4 hour. This will probably look good. So this was the last time we had a consolidation phase. Yeah, so you see the volume. Besides a few spikes here, that crazy spike there, we're moving on lower volume, and then when we start to break out, we start to go on higher volumes, right? So, and then this sell-off is bullshit too, because you look at this little small amount of volume, and then a massive sell-off that happened after. Like this sell-off had conviction. Like look at the amount of transactions that happened here. This was like I think at least $2 billion worth of liquidations on Binance alone during those 48 hours. So when compared to this kind of volume, this is nothing. So anyway, so that's my update for Bitcoin. So still bullish. This pullback doesn't mean anything. Just shaking out loose hands.
Where do you think it's headed now?
Oh, we're gonna head up for sure. I don't think we're going to attempt a breakout just yet. I think we might have a daily close around the 40,000. We might start attempting the 40,000 mark, and then close tomorrow, Saturday, and then Sunday we might attempt a break. But I'd feel more comfortable if Monday we attempt a break. That would give us more time to consolidate. So just decreasing price action and decreasing volume, and then a breakout. That would be the standard. That's what you really want to look for. So I'm just going to put this line here. I have a feeling we're going to attempt 40,000, the previous intraday high. I think we're going to attempt to break that and then close just below it. So tomorrow, I'd say maybe we might even attempt 40,500, 40,600, and then pull back just a little bit. That's what I'd like to see. And this indicator was just where I thought the next breakout, how it would reach. Like this isn't a very typical ascending triangle, but generally speaking, if it was an ascending triangle, how you want to measure it, the next move up is you want to take the resistance and where the breakout happened, the stem of the breakout, and put it and where you assume the breakout is going to be for the new breakout, and then you get about 53,560. I really think we're going to have. I might even just put an indicator here for future episodes, but I think this is where we're heading. We're not going to. I really don't think we're going to sell off at 50K. I think we're going to go straight to. Personally, I think we're going to go straight to around 55,500. I know Tone Vase was calling for 60-something thousand. A couple of other really good TAs are calling for 60-something thousand. I don't see it. I think we're going to go around the 53 to 55,000, and we're going to go back for a little bit of a correction. Yeah, that would be my best estimate. Let me look at it on a monthly. So here's my fib extension charts, and I know I reached the 55,000 because of this extension. It's the 2618, and that's where I have my target. There's a lot of confluence of price action here, so that's where my next target would be. Yeah, that's where my next target would be. Let me see on the weekly. It's so messy. The weekly we're looking at, somewhere around 52 as well, 6618. So yeah, that's where my guess would be. Let's see how my position is doing. We're almost at my take profit mark. I put it at 37,900. And let me see if I remember how I got to that. Oh, here we go. So my assumption for today was that we're going to trade up around this. So remember earlier I was talking about the VPVR indicator. So I'm assuming we're going to kind of sell off here, hit this target and pull back. It's entirely possible we go up here too. Like I said, I expect tomorrow to maybe close around here, go up high, and then maybe sell off. But as a trader, you want to be conservative. So I want to get out a little bit earlier and then reassess the charts, look at the 12-hour, look at the 4-hour and all the other time frames to see if we have any indicators of a reversal. But everything's looking good so far. I mean, remember what I said the other day. Oops, I don't want to move that. That you want to look for divergences, right? So this was this morning, 10 a.m. Right? This was a giant sell-off. People were freaking out. I was getting messages. This was 11 a.m. That was the bar that I played. Remember what we said the other day, though? You want to look for divergences, right? The RSI was giving a lower high, or sorry, a higher low, while the price action was giving a lower low. So you're getting a divergence. And I told you that was one of the strongest indicators you want to look for a reversal pattern. And then the reason I thought it was a strong, I had conviction that it was a reversal area was, again, I drew this channel, it was following the channel, there was resistance here. On many different time frames, there was reason to believe that this is a nice area for turnaround. And so that's why I put the, actually, you know what, while we're talking here, I just noticed something. You see this green volume, the buying volume on these candles here, it's starting to shrink. So my estimate would be is that we're running out of steam. This pump is running out of steam, and I need to exit probably pretty soon. So my exit was right here, 37.7. So we are about 1% away. So I'm tempted to even take profit now. You have some options. You can take some profit now, just exit the position, exit a portion of your position or set a stop around here. I don't recommend stops. I know a lot of people use them really well. I don't like using them. I just like looking at the charts and just kind of playing it by ear. But what I'm going to say could happen is we're going to attempt this little resistance here. And on such low volume, we're probably going to get kicked back down. Right. That's why I recommend taking stops, taking profit earlier, because if we get kicked back down and you're still in that position, you're going for a ride. Yeah. So what could possibly happen looks like we're running out of steam. Let's look at the other time frames. Yeah. The 2 hours not looking so hot. The 4 hour, this one just started. This bar just started. We still got 3.5 hours left in this bar, so it doesn't look too bad. But and look at that resistance line. I was on the RSI. As we're buying up, we're going to test that. What was previous support is now going to be resistance. So that would be my guess is what's going to happen is tomorrow we're going to go here. Like I said, attempt maybe 40,000-ish, probably around this level, right? This resistance level here. And we might get tapped back down. That would be my guess of what's going to happen tomorrow. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, look, I'm kind of selling off a little bit. I'm gonna keep watching to see what happens, but I might decide to take some profit soon, take something off the table. I'm up, yeah, like $240 right now. So that's it for today's update. So in summary, Bitcoin's still looking good. 20K more and more looks like it's off the table. 5% that it happens, very unlikely at this point. We're probably looking to break out or attempt to break out around Sunday, Monday. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.